We're back. And I'm hanging out with a captivating Maundy, man. Maundy, so you realize that the police had more or less deceived you
for a ride.
So you say, yeah, they're taking you for a ride.
Yeah.
So you decided, I'm also going to show them something. Now, from what I read, it just so happened that there were some people who had done terrorist activities.
Thank you.
And because they helped the police,
thank you,
they changed their status and they became witnesses from the prosecution. So they were prosecuted.
Thank you.
So after you've been going through this, you realize, here I am. I'm not a terrorist. I supported the police. I gave you all the help
you needed.
And now you have turned your back on me. So you wrote an article
entitled it, I Want to Be a Terrorist in London. Now, this is the rationale for that article. So you see, when they, after reporting and all that, nothing was happening. Even the weekly reporting for 6 months, I then started pleading with police. Can you relax my reporting, get immigration? Police said no. If we are seen to be talking to immigration for you, it will not be good. If they find out we've promised you something for your services, it will not go well with the case. So deal with immigration. So I started pleading with immigration, relax my weekly reporting, especially as my exams were coming up. Nothing happened. So then my MP for backing, one day I decided to write a letter. I know the letter served to me by immigration is always signed on behalf of the Secretary of State. So one day I said, who the hell is the Secretary of State? Maybe I could contact the Secretary of State. So I wrote a letter to immigration, sent a copy to the Secretary of State. At the time, I knew nothing about British Parliament. I knew nothing, or not even that it is called House of Commons. So I just wrote a letter to immigration, copied to the Secretary of State, and I posted it to Parliament and Westminster. That was it. Then I had a response from the MP for backing, Maxwell Hodge. So Maxwell Hodge became involved in my case for 5 years, from 2008 for 5 years. Now, nothing was going on. After I've had enough, I spent money, immigration solicitors, what have you. Even with the MP mediating between me and Home Office, still nothing. So I said, okay, enough is enough. I've had enough. Give me back. So way back now, this is into 2011. 2011, my passport now spent from 2007 when they took my passport. They only gave it to me in court for me to testify if that was my passport because it had become the exhibit of the criminal case. So in court, they gave it to me to identify if that is my passport, and they took it back. So from that, I never saw my passport again. Now, it spent 5 years in the custody of the British government, British authorities. So as my passport was about to expire, my passport was going to expire in February 2012. So towards the end of 2011, then I said, look, enough is enough. Please give me back my passport and let me go back to my country. Then they said, oh, sorry, we have lost your passport. Go to Ghana High Commission, right? Get a travel certificate and go and forget about your useless passport. So that was when I started becoming mad, and I started writing something, and I termed it The Diary of a Mad Black Man. So in I think 2012, finally I decided to leave. So I wrote a letter to immigration, copied to various government personalities, House of Commons, Speaker of Parliament, and all that. I said, look, please, I want to go back to Ghana on this day. It was a Good Friday, so make sure you do everything possible for me to leave and give me my passport at the airport. If you don't, please, I will not take it kindly. So I went to Heathrow Airport. I prepared placards in my bag, just in case something go wrong, I'll do demonstration. I went to Heathrow Airport. There wasn't any passport. They had lost the passport. They contacted immigration. Immigration said, we can't find the passport. So I couldn't leave that day. When I returned from the airport to the house, I decided I would never leave England without my passport. So I started threatening immigration. So I wrote letters. I made phone calls that, look, if you have to burn down Home Office, Luna House and Apollo House, if you have to burn it down to locate my passport, do so. If not, I, Maxwell Maundy, I'll burn the 2 buildings down to look for my passport.
You said that?
I said that. So from the time I started threatening, it took, God knows, 2 months before they were able to locate my passport and then sent it to me. But when they sent the passport to me, I was so sad with what they had done inside the passport. So then a whole lot had happened. Now, you see, a week after the case they used me for ended in court in the October 2008, something happened in Liverpool. A young boy was murdered, and he went and hid the gun in a friend's room in the loft. Now, the friend had to be prosecuted as well, but for him to serve as a prosecution witness to the British Crown in order to convict the killer, they offered immunity to the other guy, the friend, to serve as a so he was offered a reward to act as a prosecuting witness.
Okay.
That's the first incident.
Okay.
Then something else happened. Murder on a honeymoon, South Africa. An alleged British man who had gone with the wife on a honeymoon and arranged for the wife to be killed. Now, South Africa, the killers, the taxi driver and co who killed the lady, for South African police and prosecution to use the killers as prosecuting witnesses to convict the British man, South African prosecution offered deals to the killers. So again, I've seen another incidence of people being rewarded for acting as prosecution witness. Then the third one, this is it, terrorists. Two guys who wanted to bomb places. One, he was arrested in a flight going to the US. He tried to detonate the bomb from his shoe.
I remember
he was
the story. Yeah.
So he was imprisoned in the US. Now, the British counterpart, he was convicted and was in prison. For him to now act as a prosecuting witness for the American guy to be convicted, Metropolitan Police Service did so much for the convicted terrorists. And when I read the things that they did for the terrorist turned a prosecution witness, I was amazed. So I said, wow, in the arithmetic and logic and thinking of the British, they would prefer a terrorist turned a prosecution witness to an illegal immigrant turned a prosecution witness. This is the rationale with which I wrote the article titled, I Want to Be a Terrorist in London. You see, at the time I wrote the article, I was working in Croydon, Tesco.com.
So let me just read. You wrote, I want to be a terrorist, just because you have seen a track record of terrorists who had helped police being rewarded.
Have you ever heard
of you haven't had any reward?
Nothing, not even a penny. Have you ever heard of Abu Qatada? Abu Qatada was a goodness. British government spent millions on Abu Qatada, somebody who was inciting murder against British. So this is how much British love extremists, excuse me to say. And they would rather live with extremists, terrorists, even convicted terrorists, than an illegal immigrant. And you see, most of the illegal immigrants, excuse me to say, are blacks. And these are people from Commonwealth countries, people whom Britain had needed in times past. So that was the rationale for.
So I want to be a terrorist.
I want to be a terrorist.
Saying that I'm a terrorist, I would have been rewarded. Basically,
if I was a terrorist before becoming a prosecuting witness, the things they would have done for me.
Yeah.
Witness protection, new identity. These were things that were said to me that after the case
they would
give me a new identity. A witness protection, but nothing happened. They just vanished. Nothing happened.
So when you wrote, I want to be a terrorist under this context, what was the reaction?
Now, when I wrote it, I published it on my blog. I created a blog titled My Encounter with the White Man. Now, when I created the blog, I published an article first, which I again titled My Encounter. So I gave a narration of what had happened with me.
And you put it on the blog.
And I put it on the blog.
That crazed you.
I posted copies to various Westminster addresses, Home Office. Nobody cared. They didn't give a damn. But the moment I published, I want to be a terrorist in London, and send copies, come and see, then they started looking for me. Raids upon raids were being conducted at the time because there were a lot of Ghanaians working with me in Tesco. So what I did was I started telling Ghanaians, I said, look, I'll share something with you on Facebook. Don't be scared. Just share it to people. But the moment they see the title, I want to be a please, Pacho, man, sending me, don't send me that thing. So the title was scary to people. So I later changed the title to Is the White Man Worth a Pinch of Salt? If you Google my name, that article is still online. The day I wanted the police to arrest me, The whole night I didn't sleep. I was uploading all my letters and things on my blog. So 3:30 a.m. I took my car, I drove to work as if I was coming to work as normal. I took so many of my things I had printed. The banks of British justice are corrupt and bankrupt. The heart of darkness of the British. So I took so many. And I shared to colleagues, staff, whenever. So I'll give a copy to you and tell you the police are looking for me. Now they know I'm here. But they will be coming to arrest me. But I want you to know the truth. So keep this on you. When I'm gone, you can then read it. I shared so much. I went and dropped a copy in my locker, locked it, and then gave the key to security. I took my car. I drove to a friend's place in South Norwood. Then I gave my car key to him. If you don't hear from me for a week, the car is yours. I walked from the friend's house to tram station. Wood something. I went to then I called the police and said, you have been looking for me, Maxwell Maundy. Oh yes, we have been. I said, okay, this is it. I've left a bomb in Tesco.com. In no time, the place was flooded with police undercover and uniform. I boarded the tram from South Norwood back to Croydon, Therapia Lane. I came home about 6 in the morning. I cooked fufu and ate. I know the police will come for me, but I hadn't slept all night. So at least let me eat fufu
and wait for
sleep for 2 hours before they come for me. So I went to bed, slept. The house I was living in, my landlord, he was a Ghanaian. He was born in Ghana, but also went to London. We were all working at the same place. And he had known me as Justice. I went to bed and slept. That day, he was also off from work. I slept. Then I heard somebody, Justice, 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 Justice. Then banging my door, Justice. I said, Eddie, what was going on? I learned the police are looking for you all over Tesco. I said, okay, Eddie, take it easy. Take your laptop. Let's go to the living room. I'll show you something. So we went to the living room. I said, okay, I'm not Justice. My real name is Maxwell Maundy. Google.
And that was the first time you found out that you...
I wasn't Justice. I was just using somebody else's name to work. So Google my name, Maxwell Maundy, or my encounter there. So then he Google and started realizing, wow, so what's going on? I said, okay, the police, they will come for me. So don't worry. I'll just hand myself in peacefully. Now, he was scared that in case the police come to the house, maybe neighbors might think they were coming for him. And I said, as soon as they knock, I'll just hand myself. Now, the reason I know the police will come for me is once they go to my workplace, everyone knows I drive. They will pick my car registration number from the CCTV system. And the moment they run a check with DVLA, they will see the house because the car is registered to my name and the house I was living in. So I knew the police would come for me. God knows, 3 days, 4 days, there was no sign of police. I went back for my car and I started driving in Croydon. I started meeting colleagues and said, Justice, has the police not arrested you? And I tell them the police are too damn for me. So I carried on. I still did my driving for a month or so. Then finally, I went and handed myself in. So police was not able to arrest me.
You went to the police?
I walked to Barking police station and said, you are looking for me, Maxwell Maundy. Here I am. This is how they arrested me. I went to hand myself in.
What did they say?
See, at the time, God is great. Something was happening, some spirit, something. I could have lived there for years. They would never arrest me.
And so you gave yourself up?
I gave myself up. You see, when I published I Want to Be a Terrorist in London, the family I was living with in New Addington, they also got so scared. So I had to move out and then look for a new apartment. When I moved out, my new place, I didn't have internet. So New Addington still remained my publishing house. I'll still go to New Addington, type my things and public and even blog the updates on the searches and the raids by the police. One day I had a dream. All my documents were in New Addington. I had a dream that my documents were lost. As soon as I closed from work, about 11:12 in the afternoon, I drove to New Addington, fetched all my documents. The next day, the place was raided by police, about 10 officers. And they told the people living in the house that we have been looking for him for so long. We just can't find him.
So, I mean, how does it feel? I mean, yes, you're in Ghana now.
I'm in Ghana now.
And Oh my goodness. Folks, I know it's getting so exciting, but the time has caught up with us. But for once, next week we'll come back and conclude with this part, because this is more of like the foundation to a book he wrote called Darkest Humanity, which I think every person of African descent must read. And we're going to talk about it. But let's put it to an end for now. And next week, we'll just do one part just to conclude why this book and what he discovered when he was making all those visits to immigration. Stick around, folks. Yeah, better also next week. We'll be right back.
The KSM Show.